to introduce Jeff Martin. He's our electricity and power expert. So I'm going to give it to Jeff.
I don't have it on 2 hands.
Okay. Maybe we can.
You all can hear me good though, can't you? Yeah. I have a tendency to talk loud, and I'm told to hush home all the time. So it's good to be with you all. I appreciate the opportunity. Expert is a loose term. Expert, an X is a has-been, and a spurt is a drip under pressure, and I'm all of the above. But hopefully tonight, there's going to be 3 topics I want to share with you real quickly. We'll give you informative, number 1. Number 2 will be educational. And most importantly, number 3, it'll equip you for persuasive argument as you engage others on this topic of the AI data center. We're going to start off with just a real brief caption, and I need the EKP data center test. I put together a quick bullet point of the key aspects of the tariff. It was just approved recently. It's called the Data Center Tariff, and EKPC has put together. Key details. There you go. So the key details are up here on the wall. And first of all is eligibility. And EKP has written the tariff as a rate data center tariff. Eligible data centers, and that means a load size of at least 15 megawatts on a load factor of 60% or more. Well, we're sufficiently above the 15 megawatts. We're 2,200 for this one. It will require a special contract instead of a standardized rate. The tariff requires each qualifying data center to enter into a unique special contract. Now, when I was reading through this, the first thing that popped out of my mind, each qualifying data center. So they're preparing themselves for more than just one data center. We have one that we're talking about now, but the door's open for what? Multiple data centers. And let me just, this is very important. If you have a question, just raise your hand and ask me now, because I know it's hard to remember it at the end. So just interrupt me and say, hey, get my attention, and I'll be gladly to address any questions. This will require some contractual elements, and the contract will include provisions that account for the specific needs and nuances of the data center, and will be drafted according to the guidelines set forth in the proposed rate ECP tariff. So, they will follow the tariff guidelines, but each data center will have a power supply contract structured specifically for their needs. We have no idea what that structure is going to be. That's a negotiated thing. So we don't know what these contracts are going to look like. They cover all their costs in this tariff, and that means all their overhead costs, their engineering costs, their study costs, for evaluating the data center's power needs, including planning, the legal, and risk management expenses. So they make sure they're getting paid up front. And that will be paid by the developer. Billing is a key part of the contract. It includes weekly billing and potential adjustments to reconcile estimates and actual costs. Let's go ahead. Can you scroll on that for me? Or is there a mouse?
I can take care of it. Why don't you do this? I'll do this.
Okay, I'll do that. This qualifying on exclusivity, qualifying data centers must agree to be served exclusively by EKPC, sole source contract, power contract, and it's cooperative. We are generally prohibited from using third-party energy sources with exceptions for approved backup generation. Backup generation will be provided by the developer on site. How to proceed? For a specific data center, the next step is to engage with Eastern Kentucky Power and begin the process of creating a special contract under the rate of ECP. And the terms of the contract will be negotiated to address specific requirements of the data center project.
So what does it tell you? A whole lot of nothing. Basically, they've got the structure there to enter into special contract negotiations with the data center to provide sole source power agreements to that data center. All right?
We'll go ahead. That's just a real quick recap. What I really believe the things I want to get into are the next two items. And we're going to talk about the TEAC. Oh, you want me to talk about my concerns? I will talk about my concerns. Yeah, let's go with the concerns. Now, these are my concerns when I read through the contract. Proponents for signing the hyperscale AI data center campus in Mason County say the developers will pay all associated costs for the power requirements with no increased cost impacts to ratepayers and electric bills due to the AI project. How many people have heard that time and time again? It will be no cost impact to you. That's somewhat misleading because you're talking about the infrastructure cost of building out the infrastructure. We don't know how these contracts are going to be structured. We don't know if, and I think the answer, we know what the answer is going to be. What if they import power to supply the data center? I'd say all the developer will be paying for all the infrastructure requirements and their connection to existing electric grid, transmission line, substations, switchgear, etc. Bear in mind that this is the same electric grid shared with all ratepayers on that grid. So we're going to be sharing it with them. This is going to be a new load that's going to be imposed on the electric grid that we all share. Okay? As I said, there are no rate guarantees for the data center developer on energy supplier that will be no rate increases. There's nothing stipulated that we guarantee there's going to be no rate increases to you. Now, what happens when there's an elevated demand created by the AI data center? We know there's going to be an elevated demand on that grid. There's going to be additional transmission and capacity. Are there going to be charges associated with that? Yes. Is the developer going to pay for all those charges? Or are those charges going to be distributed on the shared grid to all ratepayers? We don't know, do we? The data center will be the largest demand on the shared electric grid, which will become the top priority to the electric utility providing the power. Did you hear that? They will be the single largest demand. So what will be the top priority to the supplier? Them. Right. This has the potential, I'm not saying it is, it's going to be the case, but it does have the potential, I've seen this happen in other places, of creating shortages for all other ratepayers on that shared electric grid in the event the electric grid demand requirements cannot be supported by the electric utility supplying the power. Just be aware of that. Let's scroll on down. This is not really a concern, but it's really something that came to mind when I was reading through this. And I think this point needs to be stressed very clearly. People forget when the AI push began about a year or two ago, really, really hard, what was the model that AI developers are supposed to follow for their power? Does anybody know? How are they supposed to get their power? What were they encouraged to do? Build their own power plant. Don't jump on our shared electrical grids, which we know many of them are at risk. Ours is PJM. PJM has been sounding the alarm for 2 years that we are at risk. But we're still pursuing an interconnect. So, yes.
Are you saying there was a push at one time in the beginning that they should build their own power?
Yes.
It was?
Mm-hmm. Provide your own power. Huh?
Whatever happened to it?
Well, there's nothing legally by statute that requires them to do it.
EKP wants it all.
Now, are there some places that are required by statute? Yes, some states are considering it.
That'd be a good precedent to set.
Not as of now, Kentucky is not. Okay, so the only means to ensure that consumers' electricity costs are not adversely affected is to require large data centers not connect to the existing shared electrical grid, but rather build their own dedicated power generation resources on site that is directly connected to the data center. This concept is called power co-location or microgrids. This is not a new concept. This is how America was built. You go back to the early days of the Industrial Revolution. What did most of your industrial manufacturers do when they built their plants?
Had generation on
Built their own power plants. I worked for 23 years in a paper mill. What was the first thing you built in 1880 something when you built the plant? We built a powerhouse. I managed a small little hydro that Henry Ford built. He built it in Hamilton, Ohio, to build tractor wheels. What was the first thing he built? He built a powerhouse. He did that everywhere he went. And that powerhouse was dedicated to supply power to his manufacturing process. Now, granted, we did not have the development of the electric grid as we see it today at that time to do interconnection. But nonetheless, that would ensure no negative impact. You're completely separated from the shared grid. This concept is called power co-location or microgrids. It's a better way to meet the massive energy demands of AI development without negatively impacting our existing shared electric grid. However, most developers prefer to connect to the existing shared electric grids because microgrids require large capital investment and create operational complexity from the enormous scale of energy needed for AI data centers. Those are negatives of that. Here's the additional drawback. A microgrid has one major drawback in that it cannot provide a physical, redundant backup interconnection to the shared grid to create multiple independent pathways for power to flow. We're going to get into this. Ensuring continuous operation when the primary transmission line path fails. Redundancy is a hard requirement for these AI data centers. They will not build without redundant power. If they lose one transmission line feeding their facility, they need to have something in redundancy that can continue to supply that power. If I have a failure of this substation picks up and continues to supply me power. A microgrid will not provide that because there's no secondary interconnect.
So in essence, they want 100% guarantee.
They want 100% guarantee, and then they're going to even double down on that, and we're going to have redundant backup on site, i.e. typically form of diesel generator sets. Okay? All right. That's my 2 cents worth on the new data center tariff. Let's go ahead and go to the TEAC. Okay. Let's go to the top. Can you put that on? Move this.
I can move it over and.
Yeah. Can we put it like a full screen view or something like that?
Yeah, I can remember. What is it?
Is there somewhere that says like, yeah, there you go.
There we go. Let's see if okay, it's working. Okay.
Well, there you go.
All right. Okay. TEAC, something I'm familiar with because we deal with TEAC with PJM. But TEAC is an acronym. It stands for, whoops, right here, Transmission Expansion Advisory Committee. What is that? Basically, they're a stakeholder committee within PJM that advises on the development of the PJM Regional Transmission Plan. It is a public forum where PJM staff, stakeholders, and members can discuss and review proposed transmission expansion projects, study assumptions, and project results. EKPC submitted their proposed interconnection for the data center to TEAC. This is the document. I was asked to try to explain in layman's terms what are they trying to accomplish
on their infrastructure build out. How are they going to power this animal, this beast? Pretty interesting. Well, it was interesting.
And get the screen and it.
There we go. We'll skip that. So the first thing they do, they provide an overview map of the service area. And you'll see right up here, there's a spur lock generating station. And they're going to talk about 2 substations that spur lock has. And the overarching problem statement is stated right here. We have a brand new customer that requested transmission service in Mason County. Didn't say who it is. They want a load of 110 megawatts by 2026, December. But then they're going to want to increase their load requirements with the following schedule: 530 megawatts by 2028, 850 megawatts by 2028, 2,200 megawatts by 2031. So they have a ramp up schedule, starts like this and it goes like that. Okay. Now, how are they going to get this power to them? And this is what this document explains. Oops, I went the wrong way. And this is what's confusing, I know. It's just a one-line diagram. So, the proposed solution to get this 2,200 megawatts is explained here in this little summary. The customer will initially take distribution service for construction power. Then the potential transmission solution requires work to be performed by 2 utilities, East Kentucky Power and Dayton Power and Light. Why are they in the mix now? You'll understand that in just a second. To meet the customer's timeline and load ramp schedule. The potential solution will consist of 4 phases. The first phase being phase 0, being temporary, and this is temporary, enables the customer to quickly temporarily meet the requested load ramp schedule and provide service to the customer quickly. The overall plan for the potential solution involves looping the existing spur lock North Clark 345K line. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Constructing 2 new 345 kV lines from EKPC spur lock station and 2 345K lines from BPL Stewart substation. This is the redundancy, and we're going to get into that. This is where they're doing the redundancy. Okay? Within the site, a campus of 3, these are huge, 345 kV to 138 kV. These are transformers. They're taking 345 kV power, stepping it down to 108 or 138 kV power. They'll provide the customer service with 138. So they're taking 138 kV into their facility. These 3 substations on the campus will be configured in a ring configuration. That is key. That is a very common description of what they call ring busing. And I'll define ring busing to you here in just a second. And what the ring bus will do is provide ties within the campus in the event of loss of sources into each of the substations. Guaranteed of no loss of power, as you just brought up. So here's phase 1. We've got, still going backwards. Okay. Spur lock station, there's a Goddard substation and a Plumsville station. What they're going to do, they're going to construct 2 1.5 mile 138 temporary tap lines. That's these right here in the blue. From the Spurlock Goddard, this is the Spurlock Goddard, see the line? We're going to tap right there. And the Plumsville 138. Right there. And they're going to tap into there, and that will provide them 138 kilovolt so they can start construction. All right? Estimating cost $0. I'm not sure how they kept $0 for that, but okay.
So Jeff, where would those new taps be?
They'll be close to the construction site wherever they decide to build. We don't know, right? We don't know what we're gonna put this thing yet. Right?
They try as
But they're gonna get as close as they can. Right? So, they want that by end of next year. Oops, I'm still going backwards. All right, so now that's the first phase, or phase 0. Now phase 1. Now we're getting into the good stuff. So now we're constructing new 345, 138 kV switching stations called Mason County 1. Remember that term, Mason County 1. Don't forget it. There's something very interesting popped up that came back to Mason County 1 that spun my head. And I'm gonna share that with you here just shortly. Okay? What are you supposed to remember?
Mason County 1.
Mason County 1. Okay, don't forget that. All right. This is going to be the first switching station that they're going to build, substation, right? And they talk about all that's going to be in there. It's big. I mean, they're going to have 3,000 amp, 63 kiloamp, 345 kV circuit breaker, 15 3,000 amp, 60 kiloamp, 138 kV breakers, and so on and so on. And 2 345, 138 kV transformers. EKPC will intercept the Spurlock North Clark 345K line extended approximately 1.5 miles into the new substation. The Spurlock, I'm going to get into the Spurlock North Clark. This is the 345, the big, you see the big towers? Big towers.
Where is North Clark at? Is that Clark?
No,
Where is it?
Clark County. That 345 line runs clear down to Clark County. There's a substation down there.
It's down the river.
Okay, it's down near Winchester. Who's headquartered there in Winchester?
Yeah, he is.
All right. All right. Whoops. I'm still messed up here. So, what they're going to do, they're going to tap into this existing Spurlock North Clark 345 kV transmission line. And they're going to go boop, boop, and put a substation in there. Okay? Now they want to do that by the end of May of 2027. It's going to cost $122 million. But don't worry, because all associated costs are borne by the customer. All right. We okay now? We're so far so good? Yeah. Okay. Now there's a lot of lines in here, and that's getting really confusing now. All right, so this is phase 2, or the third phase. In phase 2, what they said they're going to do, they're expand Mason County 1 substation and give the description of all the components that are in there. And they're going to construct a new switching station called Mason County 2. And it gives all the descriptive information of what's going to be in that substation. When they do that, they're constructing a new approximately 4-mile, 345 kV double circuit from EKPC Spurlock. There it is. Those are two, that's a double circuit from Spurlock, terminating on the side of Mason County 1 and the other at Mason County 2. Break the existing Mason County 1 North Clark kV line and re-terminate the North Clark side of Mason County 2. Repurpose the remaining portion of the line as tied to Mason County 1 and Mason County 2. So what are they doing here? Basically, we're providing this double circuit from the Spurlock station. They have redundancy on these two substations. So if I lose this substation, I can set power here. If I lose this one, I set power there. Just by rerouting the flow and switching to allow for it. And to continue to keep this Spurlock to North Clark energized. Okay, that's it. That's a lot. So that makes sense? Okay. 3/2028. Again, because we're going to pay for it all. We got a lot of money, don't we? Okay. Oops. Still going backwards. Yeah, that's drum roll. This is crazy. Okay.
Who thought all this up?
Electrical engineer.
So this is the final phase.
This is the final phase. They describe it here. They're going to expand Mason County 2. Remember, there's Mason County 2. Mason County 1 is the first one. This is the second one. They're going to expand that. Oops. My butt's are too close together. My thumbs are too fast. Whatever it is. They're going to construct a new 345, 138 switching station, a third substation they're going to call Mason County 3. Okay? And it describes what's going to be in that substation. Then they're going to construct a new approximately 11-mile 345 kV double circuit from DP&L Stewart Station. There it is. Why are you going to Stewart then? Huh?
Well, what do you think?
Well, switchgear also what it do? Provides an interconnect where?
BJM.
PJM. It's an interconnect. Okay? So then this line diagram here is what I talked about earlier as a ring bus. And let me give you some real quick layman's term of a ring bus. A ring bus is basically a common substation bus bar configuration that inherently provide redundancy in the ring bus. The failure of one circuit breaker or section does not interrupt the flow of power to the other feeders, as power can be rerouted around the ring. They can reroute that power anywhere around this ring. Here, here, here. I can lose any one of these and still route power around. I can also get power directly from the Spurlock station, and I now have got the ability to get power from Stewart substation. That's their design. Yes?
Is there a way to differentiate a meter in that aspect to know how much
They'll be
companies pulling versus the rest of society?
That's great question. That's in the details of the design. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. You're going to have something about me, you know what to charge them. Right? Oops, I knew I'd do it again. Wow. That is a real general explanation of how to power this stuff. It's a lot of money. Now, where's it going to go? I'm not sure. It's going to be fairly close to wherever they decide to site the data center. Yes?
How large are one of these substations?
They're huge.
5 acres?
I would not even be able to hazard a guess.
I'm not seeing.
I can tell you right now, I have, how much guess? I don't even know what's footprint. I'm going to guess. I've got a substation that we feed with 138, step up to 345 and jump up on the Duke grid. It probably covers a good, that footprint of the fits in enclosed area, acre and a half or so.
Rich has said he's worked on 165 acres.
65 acres.
Now, how many subs are there though? Multiple subs, right? A bunch of them. There's a bunch right there. That's going to be big too. Yes, ma'am.
The Plumville substation you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know where it's at. I've never been there. It's right by your house? Hello? That's 138, yep.
And so will they add on to that, or?
They're going to tap into that 138 line.
Well, it's loud in the morning, so will it get louder, is they use that electric off of that? Will it
I don't think so significant because they're only using that for construction power temporarily.
Yeah, I said truck on that.
You know, that's if you go back. If you go back, because they're only using that right here for construction power. And they're going to be tapping in close to the construction site. They're not going to be tapping them down by you and running you.
Well, I didn't know that. I know that's the one that's going on.
That's a good question. Now, what did I tell you all to remember?
Mason County won.
What did I tell you? What was it?
Mason County won.
I came across this, and so you all know Jason and I are neighbors, very good friends, and we talk a lot, and opine a lot. And I was doing a little bit of digging on the Spurlock Clark's Run transmission line, and it made my head spin when I read it. I immediately texted Jason. Jason, you got me, this guy called me. I said, I fell on my chair. And he goes, oh my God, what happened? I said, let me read you this. Okay, just doing it on the internet, searching around, different stuff popping up and reading. And I tried to get back to this, and I couldn't find it again. But I did do a screen print when I got it. Here's what it said. The Spurlock North Clark 345 kV line is a high voltage transmission line used by Eastern Kentucky Power Cooperative to move large amounts of electricity from the Spurlock generating station to the broader electric grid. Its main purposes are to ensure reliability and provide an exit for the power generated at the station. Pretty straightforward. Here are the key functions of the transmission line. Grid reliability. The line provides essential transmission capacity to maintain grid stability and reliably deliver electricity to EKPC's member cooperatives. Fine. It helps prevent system overloads during peak demand in case of other line outages. Yes, it's big capacity, 345 kV line. Is an output for Spurlock Station as EKP's largest power plant. Spurlock Station needs high capacity transmission lines like 345 kV line to move its generating power onto the grid. This is particularly critical when generating units are operating at high capacity. Gotcha. All good. Then this came up, facilitating future energy projects. The Spurlock North Clark line will also be an integral part of future electric infrastructure. For example, a new switching station, Mason County 1, is being built to tie into this line to support a 250 megawatt Goldfish solar project in Mason County. Why did Goldfish solar pop up? Now, just a few months ago, Jason sent me a flyer from Goldfish saying the site of 3,800 acre, what was it, 250 megawatt facility. It's coming to Mason County. I haven't heard any rumblings about solar lately, but then this popped up. I said, that's too dang coincidental. Not only did they mention Mason County 1, but they also mentioned the project Goldfish Solar. So I don't know what's going on. I'm not here to be a conspiracy theorist, but this is awful coincidental. I heard EKPC say, well, we have nothing to do with solar on these contracts. That's true. But that doesn't mean that they won't accept solar into their transmission line. They're very careful with their words. We talk about capacity. You've got to be very clear about capacity. There's transmission capacity and there's generating capacity. They're two different things. But we so many times they're changed to confuse people. The wording. And that's one thing, that's the third topic I want to get into. Let's really talk about, understand what this capacity is all about. Okay?
Ready to switch gears here?
Yeah, switch gears here. So, typically when I don't understand things, I try to just start dissecting it down into pieces of what I do know. What are the givens? What are the facts? So I can zero in on really what's going on. And
I was just noodling around with some things. Finally, I said, I better start putting this down on paper because I'll forget it. Because my mind goes in 30 different directions and I forget what I was thinking about. So, I was like, EKP's got this 2,000 megawatt load. How are they going to accommodate it? That was really my basic question. How are they going to accommodate this animal? That's a lot of load. Now, I don't know that much about EKPC and their organization as far as their generating capacities and what they're all about. So I started noodling around. What did I find out? Well, the power capacity was the nameplate generation that EKP's assets add up to. What's their total generating capacity? If everything ran at 100%, which never happens, let's just say they just for assumptions, they ran at 100%, how much power can they generate out of their grid? And I found a 223 report that said they have a power capacity of 3,426 megawatts. Okay? So, okay, I'm curious how much of that is made up by spur lock. 1,371 megawatts with coal. With coal. Now, what are you talking about doing with spur lock? Gas. I've heard co-firing with gas and coal, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. What's a fact? If they go to fire gas or co-fire with gas and coal, what's going to happen to that generating capacity?
It's going to go up.
No. You're going to have a loss of heat rate, and you will give up some generating capacity. Okay? I'm going to guess in the neighborhood of 3 to 5%.
So gas decreases?
Yes. Mm-hmm. It's thermodynamics. We don't want to get into that conversation. But it's a good question. Okay? Now, what else did you know we find out about EKPC? This is all public information. EKPC forecasts the power demand on their grid will exceed current capacity of its fleet by 2030. Okay? And that's based on some of their load growth forecasts, electrification forecasts. EKPC also states that it has sufficient capacity resources to meet its forecasted summer load peaks, but expects to utilize power purchases when power demands exceed capacity. We're going to get into that. This is what I didn't know, and this is what I learned about EKPC. Okay? I talked to someone a while back, and I said, how much power does EKPC put out on purchase? Or are they supplying all these, or are they having to go out and purchase power, wheel power in? Or, oh no, EKPC sells power to the grid. So really? I don't dispute that. I just don't know how much and when they sell the power. Well, it came into clear focus when I started doing this. PJM is EKPC's regional grid. We are under the PJM footprint, okay? Now, PJM has said a lot of things here in the last few years about demand, about AI, and raising alarms and ringing the bells. All right, here's a couple takeaways. This is a reminder. PJM forecasted would use double the amount of average monthly energy in 2033 as it did in 2023 in a 10-year span. Why? Because increasing power demands from data centers. That's what PJM is saying. Their grid, they're looking at the grid as a whole, their whole grid over 13 states. Without, this is key, without new data centers, energy use would only grow 15% by 2040. You see the consumption that AI is putting on the grid? Now you see why I'm a proponent for microgrids. Supply your own dang power.
I was going to say, can the grid turn down? I mean,
well, the grid, and this is what they say, we're in a sweet spot. I heard that comment. And because we have all this capacity, yeah, we got all this capacity because our bureaucrats and lawmakers who don't know a dang thing about policy for energy created capacity by shutting every dang coal plant down this river between here and Indiana. They created capacity. That's transmission capacity, not generating capacity, transmission capacity. Okay? That's true. Now, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, FERC, in June 2025, had a technical conference. When that technical conference ended, analytics monitoring, they're a watchdog for FERC, put a report out stating the current supply of power by PJM. This is June 2025. PJM is not adequate to meet the current future demands from our data center load. Okay? Now, I want to understand what the winter loads, some of the peak loads are for EKPC. This is what I found out. Last 3 years, reported 3 years. Whoops. Summer peak was 2,465. 2023, 2,497. 2,450. Okay. What was the capacity of generating assets in EKPC?
3,200.
3426. See it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you should have enough power in the summertime, right?
Right.
And when that statement was said, well, we sell power in the grid, well, they probably did during summertime. I don't know how much generating assets they had during these peak demands, if they had 100% capacity or 90%, I don't know. Here's where it gets interesting. 2022-23 winter. Look at the peak demand.
Oh, jeez.
Peak demand. Peak demand. Is that greater than the generating assets?
Yeah.
How do they meet that peak demand?
They have to buy it from PJM.
They didn't shut off customers, did they?
No.
So, during the recent winter of 2022-23, 23-24, EKPC set all-time peak demand records and needed to import power from the regional grid at wholesale market prices to meet the peak demand. These events highlight the EKPC, what I call hidden load problem during extreme cold. It's there now. Okay, so they're relying on PJM to import their power to make up the difference, right? What did PJM say was going on with the grid?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, my head's spinning. All right. So, importing power from the regional grid has been a component of EKPC's strategy to meet extreme cold peak demands. Yeah, we need to keep the heat on. The light on. Okay, so then I said, all right, we got this new 2,200 megawatt load coming at us. What's EKPC going to do to accommodate it? We know we can't carry it in the wintertime, and I don't think there's 2,000 megawatts to be had out there in PJM. So what is PJM, what is EKP publishing on what they're going to do on new generation resources? I hate this thing. No, I get it. I got it here.
There you go.
All right. Okay. So they have announced, and this is public, a 745 megawatt natural gas combined cycle at Cooper Station in Pulaski County. Operational by 2030. Okay, that's 745 megawatts. We saw a ramp-up schedule going like this for the AI center. Still a lot of shortfall there. But we're also going to build a 214 megawatt natural gas plant in Liberty in Casey County. And that's going to be, I believe it looks like to me here what they're saying is going to be simple cycle gas turbines, 12 of them, operational by 2028. So you add up, it's 559 megawatts. Okay, that's good. But still a far cry from 2,000 megawatts, 2,200. And I've been hearing a lot of rumors, but I couldn't find anything out there that says they're going to build any new generation assets at the Spur Rock station. If they are, it's not out there publicly. Okay? I did find out that they've secured a contract, I don't know where the power's being supplied, for agreement to purchase power of 100 megawatts of nuclear energy. So they can wheel in 100 megawatts of nuclear energy. I don't know where they're getting it from, but supposedly that's what they got. And they're looking to add 136 megawatts of solar capacity in Fayette and Marion County. Now I can put it out here, this is intermittent power capacity. This does an AI center no good. Alright? Discount. So the total additional resource, even though I counted in this, is really only 100 megawatts. Now let's review what did they say about the TEAC document that we just went over on the timeline. This is the same thing. 110 megawatts by 2026, 530 megawatts by 2028, 50 by 2028. This thing ain't coming online until 2030, and then 2,200 megawatts by 2031. Well, can we show that up a little bit? I'm not.
Yeah, my power.
There we go. Okay, so what do the numbers say? EKPC's current restored power capacity did not meet the extreme cold events peak load demands for the past 3 years. That's a fact. The proposed Mason County AI Data Center campus will create a new EKPC load demand of 2,200 megawatts by 2031. That's what they said. That's what they published. This represents a 64.2%, almost 2/3 of EKPC's current power capacity of 3,426 megawatts. EKPC's planned non-intermittent fossil fuel new generation of 950 megawatts. What does the math tell you? They'll do it, but how will they do it? Where are they going to buy it from?
The T-State PGM grid.
PJM grid.
Trading in what?
Huh?
Trading in what?
We know the price is going up every year.
And how many nuclear?
And guess what? When they wheel in that kind of power, what guarantees are they giving to us that it's not going to affect our electric rates?
It has to. Because we're partners, it says.
Yep. Do you know how many nuclear plants are in the PJM, Jeff?
No, I do not. Okay. That concludes what I had. I hope it's thought-provoking as it was to me. Yes, ma'am.
When they have it all built new and they've added everything they think they can, will BlackRock come in and buy East Kentucky Power?
I don't know, but I do know
They're
that
buying utilities.
BlackRock is buying utilities. That's right.
It's not for anybody else but themselves.
So, I mean, your mind kind of goes there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. You know, you fix your house up a little bit before you try to put it on the market. So if East Kentucky Power thinks they can do all these new things, then somebody will come and buy it from them.
Right.
They're tired. They're tired of making electricity. They just want money.
Maybe it was. Let me turn this thing off.
Yeah.
Weird electrical stuff is happening now.
Because the sunspots. Sunstone.
All right, any other questions?
Anybody got anything else to do? All right, let's give a round of applause.